And a good evening to you, everybody. My name is Lance Hawkins, and welcome once again to Country Party Time, right here on ThumbinRadio.com. This is the program in which we listen to a lot of great country songs and just have a great time. It's like sitting in my living room, and I'm picking out a whole bunch of tunes for you to hear. Well, we picked out some good ones this week. We've got Wynn Stewart, Ned Miller, Buck Owens, Frankie Miller, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, and a whole bunch more. I just can't get over how good this list is, and it's all for you. So let's get started right now. Here is Farron Young from an album from 1964 called Country Dance Favorites. This is a song that was originally recorded by the Drifters. It's one called, Honey, Save the Last Dance for Me.
Well, you can dance every dance with the guy who gives you the eye, let him hold you tight. And you can smile every smile for the man who held your hand neath the pale moonlight. But don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. Oh, darling, save the last dance for me. Oh, I know that the music's fine like sparkling wine. Go and have your fun, laugh and sing. But while we're apart, don't give your heart to anyone. And don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. Oh, my little darling, save the last dance for me. Baby, don't you know I love you so? Can't you feel it when we touch? I will never, never let you go, 'cause I love you oh so much. Well, you can dance, go and carry on until the night is gone and it's time to go. And if he asks if you're alone and can he take you home, you gotta tell him no. And don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. Oh, darling, save the last dance for me. Baby, don't you know I love you so? Can't you feel it when we touch? I will never, never let you go, 'cause I love you oh so much. Well, you can dance, go and carry on till the night is gone and it's time to go. And if he asks if you're alone, can he take you home, you gotta tell him no. And don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. Oh, oh, darling, save the last dance for me. Oh, darling, save the last dance.
You didn't know I wasn't free when you fell in love with me, and with all your young heart you learned to care.
It brought me shame and disgrace. The world has tumbled in my face
Because they call our love a backstreet affair. They say you wrecked my home. I'm a husband that's gone wrong. They don't know the sorrow that we had to bear.
while the one that I'm tied to was the first to be untrue. And yet they call our love a backstreet affair.
strong, then someday they'll see they're wrong. So let them call our love a backstreet affair.
We'll be free to love someday when all the talk has died away, and the happiness we've hoped for then we'll share.
I'll climb a mountain high, and the world will hear me cry that our love is not a backstreet affair.
Canadian Pacific.
I rode your ocean liner to Newfoundland, where I made a living in an iron mine. When I got my fill, I went to Nova Scotia, and I fished them salty waters for a time. Passing through Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick, I could see them rocks and cliffs of solid stone. Listening to the seagulls calling to each other made me miss my darling and my distant home. Canadian Pacific, carry me 3,000 miles through the valleys and the forests to the sunshine of her smile. Across the plains and rugged mountains, keep this wandering boy from harm. Canadian Pacific, take me to my baby's arms. The Atlantic disappeared on the horizon, and Quebec lay waiting for me down the track. For a while I drove a truck to keep from starving. In Ontario I was a lumberjack. Manitoba and Saskatchewan and followed, where the wheat fields and the old Red River flows. In the quiet hours your whistle on the prairie touched my heart and set my memories aglow. I could feel the nearness of her warm soft kisses when you rolled into Alberta westward bound. I worked on an oil rig to make some money for a ticket to the sweetest girl around. Pushing on past Lake Louise in all its splendor, where the trees and Rockies touch the sky above. I got to British Columbia in heaven. On your tracks I made it back to my true love. Canadian Pacific, carried me 3,000 miles through the valleys and the forests to the sunshine of her smile. Across the plains and rugged mountains, you kept this wandering boy from harm. Canadian Pacific, you took me to my baby's arms. Canadian Pacific, carried me 3,000 miles through the valleys and the forests.
Come on along, and we'll go down to a place in Texas called Cowtown. You'll never meet a stranger there. Everybody knows that you're in town. They'll greet you with a smile and a howdy, how you all. In just a little while, you'll get that Texas drawl. Hats are white
hats are white,
and her boots are brown.
boots are brown.
You just love this place called Cowtown.
Call Cowtown.
No matter where I may wander, no matter where I may roam, there's a place way down yonder. I'm going there to make it my home. Come on along, and we'll go down to a place in Texas called Cowtown. You'll never meet a stranger there.
A stranger there.
Everybody knows that you're in town.
You're in town.
They'll greet you with a smile and a howdy, how you all. In just a little while, you'll get that Texas drawl. Hats are white,
Hats are white.
and the boots are brown.
Boots are brown.
You just love this place called Cowtown.
Call Cowtown.
From the year of 1962, that's Cowboy Copas and his little tribute to Fort Worth, Texas, called Cowtown. Actually, he was covering Webb Pierce on that particular song. That's from an album called Country and Western Entertainer #1. And sadly, it was one of the last things that Copas recorded before he was killed in the plane crash. And that album has a lot of great songs on it, some covers and some originals. And it's a fantastic album on the Starday label. Before that, we heard from George Hamilton IV and his tune about cross-country trip on the Canadian Pacific Railroad, Canadian Pacific, and it was written by Ray Griff and came out in 1969. It was the first single from the album Canadian Pacific, and it peaked number 25 on the Billboard Hot Country Singles Chart, and it also reached number 1, obviously, on the Country Tracks chart in Canada. And a lot of people think that George Hamilton IV was from Canada. He wasn't. He was from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. But after his American chart success declined in the early 70s, he began touring the world and across the Soviet Union, Poland, Australia, the Middle East, and East Asia. And these widely acclaimed international performances earned him the nickname of the International Ambassador of Country Music. And he also hosted several successful television programs in the UK and Canada during the 1970s. Great sounds of a great man, very gentle man, and I mean that with all sincerity. He was one of the most gentlest people I've ever met in my life. I met him backstage at the Grand Ole Opry. George Hamilton IV. We lost George a few years ago, and a great loss to country music. There will never be another like him. Then before that, we heard from Eddie Wilson and Dorothy Warren from an album called Backstreet Affair on the Nashville label, and that was the title track, Backstreet Affair, a song originally done by Mr. Webb Pierce. And we started it all off with one of Webb's contemporaries from the Louisiana Hayride, Mr. Farron Young, and Save the Last Dance for Me. And that was first recorded by the Drifters back in 1960s. Benny King, who would be known for the big hit Stand By Me, did the lead vocals on that. And that wasn't the only country version of that song. Buck Owens did it on an album. That's the Tiger by the Tail, Together Again, and My Heart Skips a Beat album back in the early 60s. Also, Emmylou Harris and Dolly Parton both had records on that one. But that was from Farron's album from 1964 called Country Dance Favorites. You're in tune with Country Party Time. My name is Lance Hawkins. And we were talking about Buck Owens on that particular song, Save the Last Dance for Me. A gentleman that worked with Buck for a long time and actually introduced him to Harlan Howard was a guy by the name of Win Stewart. And Win had a string of hit records back in the 60s on Capitol and in Challenge, back on Capitol again, RCA Victor, Atlantic, Playboy. And this is one of his early Capitol records, but a great song from the pen of Harlan Howard, along with Lance Guinness. This is a song called Keeper of the Key. You're in tune with Country Party Time. exclusively here on ThumbinRadio.com.
You have gone, and yet I'm still your prisoner. Although you're with your new love, I'm not free. For you have placed a lock around my heart, dear, and you are the keeper of the key. Love locked inside like mine burns constantly. So darling, please come back to me. We'll lock our hearts together for a lifetime, and God will be the keeper of the key. Only you can break the chains that bind me. You alone can end my misery. No one else can dry the tears that blind me. For you are the keeper of the key. Love locked inside like mine burns constantly. So darling, please come back to me. We'll lock our hearts together for a lifetime, and God will be the keeper of the key. Slowly I'm falling.
So that's the way you sung it when you stole my girl.
She said she was my baby, and I thought she was mine. But a sweet singing daddy come and beat my time. Well, I'm getting tired of being pushed aside, while a sweet singing daddy takes my baby for a ride. I'm gonna get me a guitar and I'll sing the blues. Then I'll pick the fire out of my guitar. Soon television will discover me.
When?
When I learn to play in a real pretty key. All you sweet singing daddies better train your voice, 'cause my picking's gonna win, I'll be the latest choice. I'm gonna get me a guitar and I'll sing the blues. Then I'll pick the fire out of my guitar. I'm gonna get me a guitar and I'll sing the blues. Then I'll pick the fire out of my guitar.
He couldn't move a mountain nor pull down a big oak tree, but my daddy became a mighty big man with a simple philosophy. Do what you do well, boy. Do what you do well. Give your love and all your heart and do what you do well. Sometimes he'd kiss my mother and hold her tenderly. Then he'd look across the top of her head, then he'd wink and say to me, do what you do well, boy. Do what you do well. Give your love and all your heart and do what you do well. Well, he was a man of laughter, but of tragedy came by. The tears ran free and he'd say to me, never be afraid to cry. Do what you do well, boy. Do what you do well. Give your love and all your heart and do what you do well. Today I still remember, just like yesterday, about a mighty big man with a mighty big heart and a mighty few words to say. Do what you do well, boy. Do what you do well. Give your love and all your heart and do what you do well. Do what you do well.
Walking in the dark, holding my baby's hand. I'm so happy that he's my loving man. He puts his arms around me and his lips meet mine. It sends a funny tingling up my spine. Walking in the dark, holding my baby's hand. No need for words, 'cause we both know a love like ours sets the world aglow. He's my man and he's for me, no matter how dark the night may be. Walking in the dark, but now I've seen the light. Nobody but my baby can make my day so bright. When the sun goes down and the moon is high, me and my baby gonna go bye-bye. Walking in the dark, holding my baby's hand. No need for words, 'cause we both know a love like ours sets the world aglow. He's my man and he's for me, no matter how dark the night might be. Walking in the dark, holding my baby's hand. So satisfied that he's my loving man. We walk and walk, but I don't mind, 'cause I'm in heaven all the time. Walking in the dark, holding my baby's hand. Walking in the dark, holding my baby's hand.
Yeah, there she goes. That's Dottie West, Walking in the Dark. And Dottie, I hope you brought a flashlight with you. And before that, we heard from Ned Miller on Faber Records in the original version of Do What You Do Well. He would later recut that for Capitol, but that is the original Faber recording of Do What You Do Well by Ned Miller, who was never comfortable as a singer. He just wanted to be a songwriter, and he would pay people to pretend to be Ned Miller and go on stage at club dates. but he was really never comfortable as a singer. He said, if you're into that, great, that's wonderful. But, if you're not, it can be a real pain. I won't continue what he said, but anyway, you get the feeling. Anyway, but Ned Miller and one of his fine recordings, Do What You Do Well. Before that, it was Jimmy and Johnny, and we mentioned a couple of shows ago about Country Johnny Mathis and that he started off with a guy named Jimmy Fathertree. Well, that was Jimmy, and Johnny was played by his brother, Len Fathertree. And they recorded some successful songs on the Decca label, and that being one of them, Sweet Singin' Daddy, especially the imitation they do. And they were very well known for doing imitations of different people. That was their calling card on the Louisiana Hayride. And we started it all off with one of the architects of California country music, Mr. Win Stewart, and Keeper of the Key. Well, my name is Lance Hawkins. You're in tune with Country Party Time. And hey, I mentioned several shows ago also that if you want to hear a particular song, please let me know. Well, we now have an email address that you can write to me at and let me know what you want to hear. Challenge me. I beg you to challenge me to see if I can get the particular song for you on the air. I've got quite a lot of records, but I don't have every one. But I also have some connections. James Zurich being one of them, Jim Stevenson, another one, and we got a whole bunch of people we can contact to see if they have that particular record who will loan me or make an MP3 copy of a particular song. So write to me here, Lance at thumbinradio.com. And that Thumbin Radio is one word, okay? So that's Lance at thumbinradio.com. And by golly, I will try to get the particular song that you want to hear on for you, okay? Alrighty, let's get back in the music right now. I'll shut up and we'll hear from David Ball. This is from his very first album called Thinking Problem. And this is David Ball, one called Look What Followed Me Home.
Well, I made my plans to leave you far behind, to put you in my past and get you off my mind. So I took your memory on a midnight ride down a dark and lonely back road and left it there to die. But look what followed me home. Thought I was alone, but your memory, it's coming back to me. I thought I left it behind and had you off my mind, but I see I was wrong, wrong, wrong. Look what followed me home. I walked down to the river at the break of dawn with a picture of you, darling, up underneath my arm. I said the heartache's over. Today is your last day. And I think that muddy river as it carried you away. Look what followed me home. I thought I was alone, but your memory, it's coming back to me.
When my baby left me, she left trouble all around. She left a tangled mind and a tear in my eye, and my heart was sorrow bound. But when I woke up this morning, I washed my face and I combed my hair. Then I looked all around for the little tear, but the little tear wasn't there. Now I can walk in the sunshine again. Now I can hold my head up high. Now I can walk like the man I have been. Now I can live again. I spent some long nights thinking, I guess I did some drinking too. I cried at least 1,000,000 tears, and I had my share of the blues. But today it's finally over, the world looks brighter to me now. And I'm still here, she's still gone, but it's all right somehow. Now I can walk in the sunshine again. Now I can hold my head up high. I'll say goodbye to my drinking friend. Now I can live again. Now I can live again.
Well, I was born on the banks of the mighty Mississippi, where the water's muddy and the shores are slippy. I'm a true blue papa looking for a good time gal. Well, the women all over from coast to coast, I'm the kind of a daddy that they all like most. A true blue papa gonna have a good time tonight. I love to hear the feet shuffle on a honky-tonk floor. When the bar starts to close, I holler, give me one more. I be sitting in the darkest corner I can find, holding baby's hand and a sipping wine. 'Cause I was born in a cave, I was raised in a den. My chief occupation, taking women from the men. I'm a true blue papa, gonna have a ball tonight. I got a little gal that weighs about 100 pounds. She can make a jackrabbit hug a hound. I'm a true blue papa, gonna have a ball tonight. I ain't gonna marry and settle down. I wanna live more, kinda spread me around. I'm a true blue papa, gonna have a good time tonight. I love to hear the feet shuffle on a honky-tonk floor. When the bar starts to close, I holler, give me one more. I'll be sitting in the darkest corner I can find, holding baby's hand and a sipping wine. 'Cause I was born in a cave, I was raised in a den. My chief occupation, taking women from the men. I'm a true blue papa, gonna have a ball tonight.
I've tried so hard for so long to be part of your plan, but I can't go no longer not knowing where I stand. If your heart beats for someone else and our love has grown cold, oh darling, if I'm losing you. I've got a right to know. I've got a right to know just where I stand. I've got a right to know if I'm your man. If fate has changed the plans we made, the happiness I know. Oh, darling, if I'm losing you, I've got a right to know. Tagged along through right and wrong because I worship you. To prove my love, there's not a thing that I wouldn't do. Yes, I've stood by through tear-dimmed eyes and hoped it didn't show. Oh, darling, if I'm losing you, I've got a right to know. I've got a right to know just where I stand. I've got a right to know if I'm your man. If fate has changed the plans we made, the happiness I know. Oh, darling, if I'm losing you, I've got a right to know.
Alrighty, there he is, the Baron of Bakersfield himself, Mr. Buck Owens, and I've got a right to know, one of his early Capitol recordings. And before that, we heard Frankie Miller on the Starday label, kind of a little on the rough condition on that, but hey, that just proves the only pop you'll hear on this show is the surface noise on these old 45s and album tracks. That's Frankie Miller, the flip side of Blackland Farmer from 1960. And True Blue. And then before the years of the urban cowboy craze, in fact, years before his hit A Room Full of Roses, Mickey Gilley was making fine records, and he had his first chart hit in 1968, and that was the one that we heard. Mickey Gilley on Paula Records, Now I Can Live Again. And before that, we started all off with David Ball, and Look What Followed Me Home. Yes, indeed. Alrighty, you're in tune with Country Party Time right here on ThumbinRadio.com. My name is Lance Hawkins. And right now we're about to execute Johnny Cash, okay? He's got 25 minutes to go.
Well, they're building a gallows outside my cell. I've got 25 minutes to go. And the whole town's waiting just to hear me yell. I got 24 minutes to go. Well, they gave me some beans for my last meal. I got 23 minutes to go. But nobody asked me how I feel. I got 22 minutes to go. Well, I sent for the governor and the whole darn bunch with 21 minutes to go. And I sent for the mayor, but he's out to lunch. I got 20 more minutes to go. Then the sheriff said, boy, I'm gonna watch you die. Got 19 minutes to go. So I laughed in his face and I spit in his eye. Got 18 minutes to go. Now here comes the preacher for to save my soul with 13 minutes to go. And he's talking about burning, but I'm so cold. I got 12 more minutes to go. Now they're testing the trap and it chills my spine with 11 more minutes to go. And the trap and the rope, oh, they work just fine. Got 10 more minutes to go. Well, I'm waiting for the pardon that'll set me free with 9 more minutes to go. But this is for real, so forget about me. Got 8 more minutes to go. With my feet on a trap and my head in the noose, got 5 more minutes to go. Won't somebody come and cut me loose? Got 4 more minutes to go. I can see the mountains, I can see the sky. 3 more minutes to go. And it's too darn pretty for a man to want to die. I got 2 more minutes to go. I can see the buzzards, I can hear the crows. 1 more minute to go. And now I'm swinging and here I go.
I was feeling kind of poorly, hadn't been looking too fine. I just had to find out what was ailing this old body of mine. So I went to my family doctor to get my temperature and set me straight. Now the first thing he did was to tell me to quit eating every good thing I ate. Then he told old Jerry Lee to stop smoking, lay off of that beer and whiskey. He said, son, you're gonna have to have a little help. And confidentially he looked at Jerry Lee. He shook his head, and then he said, like a friend, he took my hand and he said, don't boogie woogie when you say your prayers tonight. Son, you can't boogie woogie when you say your prayers tonight. Jerry Lee, you been over rocking, you know that it ain't right. You better turn on Jesus when you switch out your light. Don't boogie woogie when you say your prayers tonight. He wired me up like spaceman, then he turned on the cardiograph. The needle went out of sight, the doc turned white. He called in his entire staff, then he cried out in disbelief. Oh, the killer with stern conviction. He said, if you don't live right, son, you're gonna die of cholesterol constriction. He looked at me, he shook his head. Here's a prescription that I think you're gonna dread. You can't boogie woogie when you say your prayers tonight. You can't do it, you can't do it, son, it ain't right. You better quit rocking, boy, you know it ain't right. You better turn on Jesus when you turn out your light. Don't boogie woogie when you say your prayers tonight. Woo! Give it to me now.
Tonight there'll be candlelight and roses in this little country chapel that's almost falling down. There'll be tears in this old farmer's eyes this evening when I give my one possession to that city boy from town. His hair is a little longer than we're used to, but I guess I should find something good to say. about this man who's won the farmer's daughter, and will soon become my son-in-law today. Mama left 8 years ago December, and it was hard to be a dad and mama too. But somehow we made a home of this old farmhouse, and love was all my baby ever knew. He could be the richest man in 7 counties and not be good enough to take her hand. But he says he really loves the farmer's daughter, and I know the farmer's daughter loves the man.
Deserve you. Bless your heart for loving me. Sweet, sweet baby, I'll try to be worthy of loving you. You came into my life and took the world off of my shoulders. Honey, you're an angel in the eyes of this beholder. Bless your heart for loving me. Mere words cannot express what you are worth. Bless your heart for loving me. I know I've been given a taste of heaven right here on earth. Bless your heart.
Oh, bless your heart, friends. Bless your heart. That's one of my hits on Capitol Records, one called Bless Your Heart. And now we'll turn it back over to Lance. Well, thank you, Freddie. All righty. Freddie Hart there, and Bless Your Heart. And before that, we heard Merle Haggard, a very beautiful song. And, you know, everybody talks about what a great singer, and he is. Merle Haggard sang some great songs, but he also wrote some beautiful songs, and I would consider him a song painter, because with just the words he said, he just painted those songs and just made them just monuments and great portraits in country music. That's Merle Haggard and the Farmer's Daughter. Before that, we heard from Jerry Lee Lewis, Under Doctor's Orders Now. Don't boogie woogie when you say your prayers at night, from the year of 1976. And a great song by the killer himself, Jerry Lee Lewis. And Jerry recorded for Sun Records, as did the man that started off that set, Mr. Johnny Cash. And 25 minutes to go. Well, we don't have quite that long. We got about another, about 10 minutes or so. So let's get back in the music right now. Here's Johnny Paycheck, a very beautiful song. Something he cut for the Little Darling label, one called Wherever You Are. You're listening to Country Party Time on ThumbinRadio.com.
When you hear this song, wherever you are, think of me.
stand up and make a toast to me. Hold your head up high and love the guy with the big fine car. And don't forget, I still love you wherever you are. You just wouldn't love me no matter how I tried. And the day you left my world, I just up and died. But every night you'll still find me wishing on a star. All because I still love you wherever you are. I've got to explain to the friends we once knew. They've got to get used to seeing me without you. If you're all alone, I hate to say I told you so. And I hope this song reminds you I still love you so. If he should close you out, remember my arms are always open, 'cause I still love you wherever you are.
So straight, I look out the window and over the gate. The big fat rabbits are jumping in the grass. Wait till they hear my old shotgun blast. Shotgun boogie, I done saw your track. Look out, Mr. Rabbit, when I cock my hammer back. Well, over on the ridge is a scaly bark. Hickory nuts are big, you can see 'em in the dark. The big fat squirrels, they scratch and they fight. I'll be on that ridge before daylight with the shotgun boogie. All I need is one shot. Look out, bushy tail, tonight you'll be in the pot. I met a pretty gal, she was tall and thin. I asked her what she had, she said a Fox 410. I looked her up and down, said, boy, this is love. So we headed for the brush to shoot a big fat dove. Shotgun boogie, boy, the feathers flew. Look out, Mr. Dove, when she draws a bead on you. I sat down on a log, took her on my lap. She said, wait a minute, bud, you got to see my pap. He's got a 16 gauge choked down like a rifle. He don't like a man that's a-gonna trifle. Shotgun boogie, draws a bead so fine. Look out, big boy, he's loaded all the time. Called on her pap like a gentleman oughter. He said, no brush hunter's gonna get my daughter. He cocked back the hammer right on the spot. When the gun went off, I outrun the shot. Shotgun boogie, I wanted wedding bells. I'll be back, little gal, when your pappy runs out of shells.
Nobody's business what I do. Nobody's business. Nobody's business. Nobody's business what I do. Where my money goes to buy my baby clothes. Nobody's business what I do. Nobody's business. Nobody's business. Nobody's business what I do. Alabama, I'm going there to see my mammy. Nobody's business what I do. Nobody's business. Nobody's business. Nobody's business what I do. She drives a Cadillac, oh boy, she balls a jack. Nobody's business what I do. Nobody's business. Nobody's business. Nobody's business what I do.
I've had it, I've had it, but you ain't got it anymore. Make men stop and stare. My hair was long and curly, I had sex appeal to spare. I had every guy in town hanging round my door. We don't know what happened, you ain't got it anymore. Oh yes, but I've had it, I've had it. Sister, you ain't got it anymore. Yeah, but I've had it, I've had it. But what you've got left of it sure looks war. I used to have a dozen men trail me like a pup. I had that certain something. Well, you must have used it up. Oh, yes, but I've had it. I've had it. But you ain't got it anymore. The trick, and to thin the fellers out, I'd beat 'em with a stick. I used to have a Cadillac and fur coats by the score. We don't know what happened, you ain't got it anymore. Oh yes, but I've had it, I've had it. Sister, you ain't got it anymore. Yes, but I've had it, I've had it. But what you've got left of it sure looks war. I used to be the village belle, the fellers' hearts I'd steal. My teeth were white and pearly. Yeah, but that's when they were real. Oh, yes, but I've had it, I've had it. But you ain't got it anymore. I guess you're right, fellas. I must have lost it.
Ouch! That is Ann Jones on the King label, and I've had it. She was known as the Kate Smith of country music because of her voice and, well, let's say the physical resemblance to Kate Smith. Those of you who knew who Kate Smith was, she was quite a big lady, big star. Anyway, Ann Jones on King, and I've had it. Before that, we heard someone who used to record for King and later recorded for Star Day, and that's where that record came from. That's Clyde Moody and Nobody's Business. Then before that, from the year of 1951, we heard from Tennessee Ernie Ford, the song that really got him on the map, the Shotgun Boogie. And we started it all off with Johnny Paycheck and Wherever You Are. And that sound means it's time to end this particular edition of Country Party Time, but we'll be back again next week. We will be loading up more great country records for you and just having a good old time. I know I am, and I hope you are too. So if there's anybody you want to hear, any particular country music artist, please let me know. My address is lance@thumbinradio.com. That's just one word, thumbinradio.com, okay? And we'll be tickled to death to hear from you, alrighty? My name again is Lance Hawkins. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week. Goodbye now.